broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the SVU AFTERBUZZ After Show. I'm your host, Yael Tygiel. Today I'm with Roya Taheri.
Sorry, I forgot.
Detective Roya Taheri.
But would you like some red vines?
Would I like some red vines? That's right, guys. We are talking about Season 1, Episode 1.
Would you?
That's how it was. Season 1, Episode 1, Payback, the first ever, the series premiere of SVU. I'm so excited that we decided to do this. There was no new episode this week, so we asked the fans, and you all suggested, and we were like, the first one, what a great idea.
You know what? Today's voting day in America,
yeah.
Right? And so we had you vote. Mm-hmm. If you didn't vote in America, you voted for what episode you wanted.
Yeah.
And this one won.
Nice. That was a very
Thank you.
Nice. Go out and vote, people.
America.
Yeah. So we're talking about Season 1, Episode 1, Payback. Stabler's still there. Cassidy is still part of the team, kind of. We also have Jeffries, Kragan, Munch. Oh my goodness. The only person who's still around now is Mariska, and is Mariska, really?
Yeah.
Because Ice-T hasn't even joined yet.
Did you see the opening when, like, the opening credits? I love how they still keep that as the same.
Yeah.
But when Kragan and Benson and Stabler and Munch walk through the, like, literally all four of them, like, walking through. I'm kind of like, I want to know how many takes it took for them to get through that door, because that's a wide ass door for four people to go through.
Yeah.
I can't even go through two at the grocery store. When they open wide, people like shove you across the way.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I don't actually know the answer to that, but if you stick around a little later, we're gonna have some series fun facts that I have, because I happen to own Season 1 on DVD and happen to have watched bonus features.
Where were you when I was looking for the episode?
My DVD pack is actually not with me now, but you know,
okay.
Anyway. So this episode, yeah, it's all of SVU is available on Hulu Plus for those who want to rewatch the first episodes. The whole show is on Hulu Plus. The season 8 and above is available on Netflix. You're enjoying those red vines.
Oh, they're good. Yeah. I didn't mean to start eating it, but I did.
So we apologize to anyone listening who can just hear her chewing. All right, let's talk about the episode itself. We start the series. I love that we're talking about the beginning. We start the series with Benson and Stabler arriving separately to a crime scene. It's raining. There's a taxi cab, and they're like, "Why are we called? You know, a stabbing isn't a sex crime, and he clearly wasn't robbed." And then the cop that found the body, or that called them, was like, they took off his cigar, or they cut his cigar.
Yeah, but
yeah.
Cheesy line.
I miss the old days of like really cheesy lines.
You mean, well, that's what Ice-T's for.
Yeah, but like it used to be everyone said things.
That's true.
Yeah.
So you miss the whole like, oh, we arrived to the crime scene. Mm-hmm. This is what it's happening. Oh, well, they're not going to be writing about anything.
Yeah.
Like that kind of.
Yeah, I miss that. Stuff. Yeah. There was, I mean, one of my favorite commercials for an episode, like a promo for an episode of SVU, was Mariska, Benson finding a body and her saying, "It's kind of hard to shoot yourself in the back." Like, that's one of my favorite lines from the entire show ever.
I'm glad with where they are now compared to then.
Well, so through this episode, we see the way they interact with each other as a team, as a unit, and they're so much more playful with each other.
Yes, so much sarcasm in this episode.
Yeah.
Which was written by Dick Wolf, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And so I kind of wonder, because obviously he doesn't write anymore for the season or series, but if that was his tone that he wanted for the entire series.
Yeah. Well,
I guess 16 seasons in, you kind of run out of sarcasm, but
I disagree.
I do too. 26 years later, I'm still sarcastic, so it still runs.
Well, let's talk about the story of the episode. So we find out that our cabbie, Victor Spicer, is in fact not really Victor Spicer, because Victor Spicer is in jail for a lot of things, including that he was a taxi driver and he was a hooker in his own cab. So that's why he's in jail. Oh, I thought you were going to eat more red wine.
No, I didn't.
Stop it. No more.
I'm looking at my notes. I put it down.
Okay. So we find out that fake Victor is actually a Steven Panacek, who is Czech, in fact. Panacek is Czech. But no, turns out Steven Panacek isn't even his real name. His real name is Stefan Tanzik, and he is a Serbian war criminal. And he's a super serious rapist, is what I was trying to say.
Super serious.
Super serious.
I want to know
rapist.
what a super silly rapist would look like.
He wouldn't be. That doesn't make sense.
Oh, wait. Disclaimer, guys.
Oh, yeah, we should have warned you.
Yeah.
Guys, we're going to make inappropriate jokes, and we apologize.
Yes.
Because as we always say, this is a serious topic. The show is about rape and molestation, all sorts of serious things. And sometimes it's really hard to talk about, therefore we will laugh about it. And I think Roy is trying to pull up the hotline for anyone.
National Sexual Assault Hotline.
Yeah, for anybody who may or may not have been assaulted.
Which is 1-800-656-HOPE. You would think I would have that memorized by now. 1-800-656-HOPE.
All right. So we've warned you and we've given you a hotline. Let's move on.
Now, does this hotline cover, if you molest dead bodies?
That's an excellent question, because Cassidy has to go and deal with someone who molested a dead body. And I love the first season. I love the first few episodes where Cassidy, I don't know how he got to this unit. Now, I want to talk about all the different, because we really get backstories on every member of the unit in this episode.
Yeah.
Which I forgot that they gave us all at once. I thought it was throughout the first season, because I remember in the first season, each episode somebody has to go to court, and in court we get more of their personality. So this episode we get Stabler in court. We'll get to that in a second. But Cassidy, I don't know how he got to this unit, because he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know the word necrophilia.
But the thing is, what threw me off in this episode is that the sex crimes unit is a volunteer unit.
Yeah, Stabler says that while he's in the witness stand. Yeah.
So maybe they have to be the best of some sort to be able to go into that unit.
I don't think so. I think it's any cop who wants to volunteer to do it, because no one wants to do it. I mean, we know why Stabler does it. Stabler even says he does it because he's got, and this is where we get his backstory. He has 4 kids, and he doesn't want, the bad guy to be exposing his shortcomings to his daughters.
Shortcomings?
Yeah.
I'll show you.
What a great way to start a series.
Yeah. Man, he was all about the flapping.
Yeah.
Look
at it. Look at my shortcomings.
Kind of remind me of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Sorry.
I want to get back to Stefan Tanzik, the Serbian war criminal, because he turns out, as I said, Serbian war criminal. We find out that he had, there are a handful of women in the U.S., in New York specifically, that he had raped during the war. And we meet this really heartbreaking girl, Ileana Taheri, who was blind, and her face was severely burned, or,
just
tortured. Yeah. And we see,
Stabler. Yeah. Shows the badge. And then Benson
He's like,
puts
no,
the hand down to put it down.
no.
Was that necessary? You don't need to do that. I'm pretty sure Stabler would have been like, oh.
I think it was to let us know that she's blind, so that we don't think that she is not blind.
Wearing contacts?
I don't know. It's to let us know that she's blind.
But that was another sarcastic kind of humorous moment.
Yeah. Well, then I love that this girl, they ask her if she knows Stefan Tanzik, and she starts freaking out, and Ben's is like, I just want you to know he's dead.
Yeah.
And the girl praises Allah, which is adorable.
This is a great character development too, where we see Benson
can't handle it. She throws up.
Right. But it's her taking the step to tell her. Meanwhile, Stabler is kind of shocked. He doesn't really know
what to do.
How to react.
it's so weird to see them so young and like new. And Benson, I was confused a little bit. Did they not know each other before, Benson and Stabler? It seemed like in the first scene they're introducing themselves to each other.
Stabler, Benson.
Yeah, but by the second scene they're like part of a unit that can make fun of each other. And he knows her story.
I know what you're talking about, but for me it was because of the opening scene's raining, it's dark.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just the camera angle was not good enough where you saw them introducing themselves to the cop on scene. Okay. So maybe that's why there was like Stabler or Benson.
Right.
Because it wasn't one of those usual like you see their faces as they say it.
I get what you're saying.
It could be, but it sounds like he knows her backstory.
Right.
Like he chose her to come with him.
And then when they realize that Tanzik is a rapist, they're like, Cragen's like, oh, you got to talk to your partner. I don't know if she can handle it. So like they know what's up. They know her story, which we get. I didn't remember that we got it revealed in this episode, what the situation was with Benson's mom. I thought that was something like 2 or 3 episodes in. And so what did you think about the next victim that we met? We met Marta Stevens, who's an architect.
Well, before we get into her, do you want a donut?
You know they come in other flavors.
Oh, man. Can't be picky.
This is so good.
Sorry, it was another Captain Cragen.
He's just trying to feed everybody.
He was just eating. It was one day. This is literally 24 hours after the
incident.
Yeah, and there's a lot of food that happens.
God, it smells like donuts in here now.
I know, it smells so good.
For those who are listening and not watching, you're missing a lot of good shenanigans from
donuts,
Roya.
Guys. Donuts.
They come in more flavors.
Apparently.
So Marta Stevens, we meet her husband and son before we meet her, and the son is clearly not the husband's.
I love that shot because for me it reminds me of a lot of their other episodes when they see the boy and they're like, that's not the father's kid. And like they want to tell him, but they don't know if he knows that it's not his kid. And they're like, how long have you been married?
And he's like, a year. It's been a year. I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm the stepfather. I know. It's not my child.
Look at this child.
Yeah.
It's like if an Asian kid were to come out.
Yeah. That's why I was like, the reaction, he could have been the father.
Yeah.
It wasn't that big of a difference of a kid.
Right.
But
I think they chose a kid who looked like
it's because he had glasses.
The kid yeah, okay. So the kid looked like Panachek's kid. So Tanzik's actual kid with his wife under the Panachek name. He also had a kid, and they looked very similar. I think that's what it is. Are you going to keep this out here? Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm going to wave my flag of donuts.
Yeah. You're gonna show us your shortcomings.
Shimmy.
So we go and see Marta in her workspace at the architecture firm, and she doesn't have any missing fingernails. She doesn't have an injury, but she very clearly is the one who did it. Like it's very clear. And I want to talk about the actress who played Marta Stevens, because Marta was played by Millie Avital, who is Israeli. Woot woot. I'm throwing that out there.
Woot woot.
Yes, exactly. And for those who watch a lot of SVU like we do, you know that they use the same actors for multiple episodes playing all sorts of different characters. And Millie Avital actually played twin sisters in one of my favorite episodes. I don't remember what season it is. She played Irina and Eva, 2 Russian sisters, one of which is dead, and the other one like assumes her place with her husband. It's such a good episode. I can't even think of what it's called.
Interesting.
Yeah. But she also was in a 3rd episode.
Is there a mannequin involved in any of those episodes?
A mannequin?
I don't know why, but I see a mannequin with her, and I don't know if it's maybe mixed, like an arm.
Yeah, that does sound right. Dead body. Yeah.
Maybe.
So anyway, we then meet Anya Rugova, who does have an injured hand and is missing a fingernail on her left hand. She's left-handed. Mm-hmm. And Benson is like, she's like, nope, she didn't do it either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's clearly a lefty, and she signed with her right hand.
Right.
That's not at all.
Yeah.
Nope. Moving on. Not her. Let's look this way.
Yeah.
I bet you it was the other taxi driver.
It was the other taxi driver.
The waitress.
Anyway, Stabler and Benson. This is what's great is it's the first episode of this show, and they've given us a controversial topic. Do we feel bad for the victim? You Can't Pick the Vic is introduced in this episode and is then repeated for another 16 years. And we have to deal with the situation of how do you deal with these women who they murdered because of what happened to them. They were the victims. And so we get this really interesting scene. We get Angie Harmon visits she was on original Law and Order to be their DA, and they make a deal. They settle because Anya stabs herself and kills herself.
Yeah, they pretend that, the eyewitness.
Yeah. And
what did you think about that? Them playing that game of, hey, we actually have a witness
let's
that can ID you.
Confess. It just sets up for the rest of the show because they do that over and over again, stuff like that.
Would you like some nuts?
I would not like some nuts, thank you. When were there nuts?
Captain was eating it, and when he was walking through the room, and Munch was eavesdropping on them.
Oh yeah,
he was just eating nuts like this.
Yeah.
You know?
Could you back away from the mic? Our poor listeners. Sorry guys, I apologize for you having to listen to her eat nuts.
He was eating nuts. He was eating some protein.
Yeah, put some more nuts in your mouth. Let's keep going.
You're trying to keep me quiet?
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to say put more nuts in your mouth. Okay. I want to talk about the different characters. So they settle it, they make a deal, and Benson and Stabler are happy with what's happened. Cragen is upset, and that just sets up the way this show is going to run for another 16 years, where Benson is like, I do what I want.
Yep.
And Cragen
still like that.
Yeah. Still we can, blur the lines.
Would you like some chicken? I brought some Chinese food.
Some Chinese food. Are you gonna eat that all? Because I'll just take it.
They ate Chinese food as well.
They did, and Jeffries just took it. Let's talk about Jeffries. Jeffries, who was only in the first season. Yes.
Which one's Jeffries?
Jeffries is the other woman.
Oh.
Michelle, played by Michelle Hurd. I wanted to call her Word, but I know it's not Word. It's Hurd. Michelle Hurd, who was recently on Witches of East End in the final season.
Her presence was good on the episode, but she wasn't memorable.
No, she didn't do anything this episode.
Yeah, she's no Rollins.
Yeah. Well, okay, so for those who don't recall what happens next, Monique Jeffries, played by Michelle Hurd, is part of the cast for the whole first season. And she becomes important and does a bunch of stuff and ends up almost blowing up. And at the end of the season, she is replaced by Ice-T. Are you eating chicken? This is weird. This is weird.
Welcome to AfterBuzz, everybody.
It's a show where Roya eats into the mic. So Jeffries is actually supposed to be partnered with Munch. Mm-hmm. But Munch spends a lot of time helping Cassidy because Cassidy doesn't know any better.
And apparently Munch was doing this as volunteer work as well. He doesn't need the money. He has a pension. He has...
Well, so let's talk about Munch. Munch actually came from a different Dick Wolf series. I think it was Homicide: Life on the Streets, which took place in Baltimore. It may not have been that show, but that was another show from Dick
That's
Wolf.
why he doesn't want to go to Baltimore.
He doesn't want to go to Baltimore because that's where he came from. And he has played Munch on 3 different shows, Dick Wolf shows. 3 different shows, same character. And the reason Munch is super conspiracy theoristy is because Richard Belzer, the actor, is a huge conspiracy theorist.
Interesting.
Yeah. So they make this amazing... Jeffries makes a sexual joke at Munch, which I've seen this episode a bazillion times, and I never caught it until this episode, where she makes a going down joke. She says to him, eating out. She's like, I hear you don't ever do that.
Yeah, that was with the Chinese food.
Mm-hmm. That I really wish, this is gonna sound so weird, but I really wish that would have come up and there would have been an explanation as to why she heard that and who and how she knows, because that would have been so
there was no explanation?
No, not that I recall. But then again, I missed this reference every other time I've seen this episode. We also get to meet Benson's mom in this episode.
Which I didn't know we got to do.
Yeah, I didn't know we got to do it in the first episode. I thought it was seasons into it. I thought they didn't even cast her. And so we meet Benson's mom, and basically they put it out there like, hey, Benson joined this unit and became a cop because her mom was raped and she is the product of rape, which is a huge storyline and a huge premise on the show that I didn't even realize was set up in the first episode.
Right. My question about this whole Benson, because I know she's so gung-ho about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Why? I mean, unless the upbringing by her mother was like, you're a product of rape.
Yeah.
To make her feel so bad for her mother. And it's terrible. Her mother was raped, and then now she got pregnant or whatever. But why is Benson so upset? Like, the mother even says, I'm the one that has to deal with it, but you are my product and I love you.
So I think the reason is because we know that Benson's mom, we find out later in the show that Benson's mom was a huge alcoholic, had a serious drinking problem. Not a spoiler. Not a spoiler. The show doesn't have spoilers. So that's not true. Alex Cabot, what happens with her is a spoiler. So I'll keep that to myself. But Benson's mom was an alcoholic, and like I think that the way she was raised was I was raped and that's where you come from. You are the child that I didn't want because I was raped.
Which means she must have been doing that the entire time. Okay.
That's what I think. And that's what got Benson to where she is.
It's just interesting, like, for that character to not be able to have a different outlook on life.
Well, I mean, she does talk about it a lot.
I know, but...
Yeah. And it really goes into play a lot later when we meet children who are the product of rape. And there's questions of, is it hereditary? Is it this? Is it that?
Okay. Yeah. I can see your point there, but I don't know. Just her obsession with it's a little too much for me. I love Benson, but sometimes she needs to just let it go. And it's heartbreaking when you see children get raped and everything. Like, we all have those feelings. But hers is just more... Well, just like Frozen would say, let it go.
Stop it. So she
let it go.
Stop. I'm sorry to our listeners. I just gotta apologize for you the whole episode.
Okay.
No, I think that Benson can't let it go, and like this is something that drives her. She has daddy issues because she doesn't know her father because he's the man who raped her mother. He's not, a deadbeat dad. He's not they had a divorce or they didn't, it was a one-night stand. He assaulted her mother. That's, I think, the difference here. Before we move on, because there's still so much to talk about, I want to thank our fans for voting, first of all, and choosing this episode. We can't wait to hear what you guys want us to do next time there is not a new episode, because we will do this every time that we are on hiatus for a week or two. So thank you. Also, thank you for going onto iTunes and rating and reviewing. We really appreciate it. It lets everyone here know that you like the show, that we're doing a good job. And we like that you rate, review, comment, and thumbs up it on YouTube. And tweet at us. We do love discussing SVU all the time.
I got some shout outs for some Twitter people, unless you got them.
No, you got it.
We got Panda Puds, who says, love SVU. So do we. And of course... Happylander, hashtag Happylander.
Yep.
And there was one, Michelle Older was the one that gave us a lot of the Hudson.
Oh, the Hudson. Last week I asked for all this Hudson info.
What up? Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I don't know why I went all iced tea on y'all.
Iced tea. That ain't right. That's iced tea. All right.
Twizzlers for everybody.
Yay.
Red Vines, I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I want to give us some series fun facts. For those who don't know, SVU was a spin-off of the original Law & Order. It was, I think, the only successful spin-off. I'm going to go as far as saying that because Criminal Intent only lasted, I want to say at most 10 years.
I don't know. Joey did pretty well on its own.
Spin-off of Law & Order.
I thought it was spin-off on NBC.
No. No, and Joey did not do well. Frasier is like known as the best spin-off ever or something.
Well, now Law & Order SVU.
Yeah, for sure. Where was I? Oh, there was Criminal Intent, and then there was also Trial by Jury, and then there was like a real one. I don't remember what it was called, but it was terrible.
A real one?
Like a reality, not like a reality, but like a Dateline-y. Maybe it was Trial by...
How to Catch a Predator?
No.
Oh.
Anyway, Anywho, SVU, great show. The fun facts are that Captain Cragen, played by the amazing Dan Florek. I want to call him Donald, but it's Dan.
Why do you want to call him Donald?
Because Donald Cragen, Dan Florek.
Okay.
Fun fact, he was the first one cast on the show. They were like, we want to make a show. It's going to be a spinoff of Law and Order. It's going to be a different one. It's going to be sex crimes. We want Dan Florek to be the captain.
And he can have craft services with him the entire episode.
The entire pilot. Yeah. We're just going to give him whatever he wants to eat.
Yeah.
Be it a mishmash of food.
Yeah.
Almonds and some donuts. But he was the first person cast. They didn't have their lead detectives or even their sub lead detectives. They had the captain who just is in a few scenes in the station.
Yeah.
That was the first person cast.
Interesting.
Yeah. So weird.
Especially since the credits only had the three of them. Him, Benson, and Stabler. Did you know that?
It didn't have Munch?
Mm-mm.
Interesting.
But he had him in the ending of Walking.
Right, where he walks with them.
Unless I looked away and he popped up then.
Away, yeah.
But I was watching it.
Yeah. Interesting. So that is a fun fact there. Cassidy, who we have in the first season, he leaves halfway through and then returns recently, I think last season. Mm-hmm. He returned maybe the season before. Yep, he returned the season finale of the season before last season.
So 14 finale.
Yes,
15,
all of 15.
He was in it.
Yeah, and then he left again. And you may recognize him as Mayhem from this, is it State Farm or Allstate? Allstate commercials.
Yeah.
He's Mayhem.
Yeah. Well, and he is also in that other show that was on FX, Rescue Me. Mm-hmm. He was a brother on that.
Yeah, he was. But
I liked him on that.
He's Mayhem, which is really frustrating to me. I like the one where he's on the tree and he goes shaky, shaky, and then it breaks. Anyway, Richard Belzer is a stand-up comedian who's written multiple books. Put a T in there. On conspiracy theories. Fun fact. And as we know, Stabler leaves us eventually.
Boo.
Yeah. Angie Harmon, who played 88 Abby Carmichael, is from the original Law and Order. And in season 1, they do bring a lot of original Law and Order people over, like Jerry Orbach, who played Briscoe.
Is he the eyebrow one?
Partner. Yes.
Well, not like
Lenny
Sandy.
Briscoe?
But...
No. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. He's the older gentleman. And we meet in the first season, they gave him a nephew who works in the SVU office. And he calls him Uncle Lenny.
Oh.
And he's like, don't call me that. Call me Briscoe. And he's like, but I'm Briscoe. What do people call me? And he's like, Briscoe. I feel like they made that character because they wanted to do stuff with him. And they're like, nah, this is dumb. Moving on. So those are some series fun facts for people.
That's cool.
I really like it.
I'm sorry, I was Googling
yes?
the captain and seeing
Captain
what show.
Cragen?
Yeah, because he reminds me of, he's from a different sitcom, early 90s, but apparently he might be from Smart Guy.
Oh, you weren't thinking of the one episode that he was in Sabrina the Teenage Witch?
It might be that too.
It's the episode
honestly, those 90s.
With the cat competition where she turns into a cat because Salem is competing and he's a bald weatherman. And so
maybe I just see him a lot, and I thought he was a. I'm just gonna be quiet now.
Okay,
I'm gonna go back to my nuts.
I think on that note, I think it might be. That's okay. Is there anything else you want to say about the pilot episode?
I'm really glad we did it.
Me too.
Because there's a lot about the episode, the series, I did not even realize that happened. Like the fact that it's a volunteer kind of unit.
Yeah.
Cragen gets hungry a lot. But
because he doesn't drink because he's an alcoholic.
Yeah, but you don't know that.
That's true. He doesn't talk about that.
You would think he was trying to quit smoking by how much he was trying to eat and put things in his mouth all the time. I'm sorry, that's not what I mean to make it sound like. But
right.
What I wanted to point out is I thought it was interesting that the first episode of the series is not really. It's about rape, but it's not. And the first victim is a rape victim.
Right.
It's a man who got his penis cut off, and so it was kind of controversial. Of well, do you feel bad for him because he got his penis cut off?
Yeah.
Even though he raped and he was a serial rapist. Mm-hmm. Or do you how far does the law go? I kind of liked how that this was the first episode.
Yeah, I love that they started the show off with a gray episode. they were like, we want to introduce you to this brand new series. Here's what it's about. It's about, you know, rape victims and flashers and child abuse and molestation. But instead of giving you what you expect the first episode to be, we give you something that's morally gray. We don't know, you know, who's right and who's wrong at the end. And everybody leaves unhappy. You know, the whole series ends, everybody's life is turned upside down and everyone's unhappy. Yeah. The episode.
And also, just a random note, I liked how the waitress in the diner was able to tell Stabler and Benson, like, nope, too busy, can't talk to you. But then when they're like, oh, we're cops. Okay, what's up? I got a few seconds. Like, I wish I could do that as a waitress. Be like, sorry, can't talk to you, but where's the can't talk to you, I'm busy. Excuse me, can't do it. I'm just saying. I didn't just want to throw that out there.
There's an interesting joke about how people on SVU, specifically SVU, when they're questioned by the cops, they're always like too busy to stop what they're doing and talk to them. They continue whatever they're doing while talking to them. So the waitress in the diner, the taxi diner, is like getting the sandwiches and is dealing with the customers and like filling up coffee and then like sending back the.
She also made kind of a rude comment about like English.
Yeah, no,
speaking English.
There was multiple. So they made a racist comment there about, you know, can't remember the last time I heard English, and then also they made Stabler makes a comment when they're looking for who killed the taxi driver, and they find the fingernail, and he goes, "Well, it could have been a he, she." Yeah, which he says a few times. Like, I know that through the series, Stabler has a lot of issues with trans folks, and so he constantly is trying to figure that out. But Benson laughs at this joke, and like later on the season, she meets plenty of trans people, and she's like, "No, like, we're not going to make fun of them. That's rude and disgusting, and you should never make fun of these people."
It's literally their first day on the job.
Yeah, like I can make offensive jokes.
No.
Oh, I didn't know that was wrong.
Yeah, whoops.
Whoopsie daisy. Amazing first episode. A great way to start a series that lasts another 16 plus years.
Yep.
And we cannot wait to get back to new episodes next week.
Yes.
And guys, please keep letting us know which episodes you want us to talk about while we have mini breaks, because for whatever reason SVU likes to do this. New episode and then 3 not new episodes.
Yeah, we were so excited. We're like, yay, new episode. We think this is gonna happen, da da da. And then we're gonna email like, there's no new episode next week. What?
Yeah. Mind blowing.
Yeah.
On that note, I think we should go into predictions about next week's episode.
Cool.
Yeah.
So because
And now your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
So the next episode is actually tomorrow night. And we'll be talking about it next week.
November 5th.
And it's called Glasgowman's Wrath. And I made a big mistake last week being like, what is this? It looks stupid and Halloween-y. My mistake.
Well, that's because you thought it was going to be on the weekend after Halloween.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be after Halloween. But it actually is the Slender Man story.
Elaborate.
So the Slender Man situation is, there is this online, I believe it's a comic. It's a story someone wrote about a fictional creature like the Boogeyman, and he's the Slender Man. And these 2 girls murdered a third friend. These 12-year-old, 13-year-old girls murdered a friend, quote unquote, as a like offering to the Slender Man.
Is this Pretty Little Liars?
No, this is real life.
Okay.
This is something that happened.
Got it.
Yeah. And so that was in the news for the past, like, all summer about these little girls. And I saw the trailer and, like, they never even, you know, brought up this idea that they did something. And I was like, oh, this looks stupid. But if that's the story they're ripping from the headlines, then it's going to be fascinating.
So another ripped from the headline story.
So far we're, 6 episodes in? 5?
Do you know off the top of your head if the first episode of the series, the one that we just covered, was that ripped from the headlines, or was that kind of like, hey, this actually does happen, we have so many storylines that we can do?
I don't know. I meant to look that up, especially because the series started in 1999. And I was wondering, was there a recent war, a Serbian-Czech war that happened around 1999? I don't know my world history, and I apologize.
No, but I do know the world is round.
Yeah, great. So,
and I have yes.
History is not our strong suit, even if it is recent. So, I don't know if the first story was ripped from the headlines. I assume that there may have been.
We'll look it up, and next week we'll let you know. But if anyone knows online, and
please let us know on YouTube or on Twitter.
Yeah, I just thought of it now. I was like, hey, I wonder.
Yeah. So my predictions for next week is that it's going to be the Slenderman stories. Thanks, guys, for letting me know that, so I wasn't wrong.
Who do you think is going to be the lead detective in this one?
Lead detective?
Yes. I think that's a fair question to ask because...
Yeah, I think Amaro.
Amaro?
I think it's an Amaro story.
Okay, because he's got children and he can relate.
I think he's the only one left who has kids.
How many times do you think we're going to see Benson's baby in a picture? In the background?
In a picture in the background? 4.
Oh, I was going to say 4.
All right.
Okay.
So 4. We think it's going to be 4.
Okay. I don't have any other predictions. So.
I think we will see, hopefully we'll see Peter Gallagher.
Yeah.
Dodds will make an appearance. Those are our predictions.
Any other updates for news and gossip or anything?
I don't have any news and gossip this week. No.
Okay.
No Stephen Collins or Kesha updates. Sorry, guys. So thank you so much for joining us for season 1, episode 1, Payback, the first episode of the series of Law and Order Special Victims Unit, the greatest show on television.
Yes.
Roya, why don't you grab a donut?
A donut? I was gonna grab some red vines.
Yeah, and tell the people where they can find you online.
Well, guys, you can find me
Detective Roya.
Yes, that's the route I'm going for. If you want some red vines, tweet at me or message. I don't know. Can you message on Instagram?
Yeah.
At Hey Roya. That's HeyRoya. Yeah.
Awesome.
Do you want to?
I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You can find me online at yael.tv. That's YAEL.tv. There you'll find all the shows I do here at AfterBuzz, including Constantine and a whole bunch more. Also, you'll find information about the beautiful stylings from Siren's Boudoir. You can also find me on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. We'll see you next week. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Dun dun.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.